our best wishes for him to get well soon. We do look forward to seeing you again, Mr. Ganguly, next time with the Governor well and sound. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us somebody straight from the Executive Office of the President of the United States, Mr. Michael Delaney, who is the Assistant U.S. Trade Representative for South Asia, and not just South Asia, but I understand today Iraq and Central Asia as well. That's practically covering half the globe, where you have the challenges. The other areas are much easier, Mr. Delaney. He's responsible for development of trade with countries, as I said, the whole range. He's a senior Foreign Service officer, earlier with the Department of State. We have his illustrious biography already with us. And for the benefit of all of us, he has come in specially for our convention to Mumbai today. Please welcome Mr. Mike Delaney.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for that kind introduction, and thanks to President Laha, Mr. Murata, Ranjana Khanna, and their colleagues at the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce for inviting me to for your annual convention here in Mumbai. I've been coming to Mumbai in various capacities for a long time. I first visited this city in 1971, actually. It's a vibrant, diverse place, and I've always greatly enjoyed it. I've been asked to speak about how we can achieve the goal set forth 2 years ago by our leadership of increasing by fivefold the trade between our countries. What sort of policies are necessary to achieve this ambitious goal? Before outlining what I think these should be, it is important to note that overall conditions are favorable for such an ambitious goal. By this I mean the general state of relations between our countries. I have been working in the area of Indo-US relations for a long time, and I am struck by the vastly improved tone of our dialogue. There is a real spirit of cooperation and high energy. This refreshing atmosphere is due in no small part to the dynamism and vision of Prime Minister Modi. Last year, Prime Minister Modi had an enormously successful trip to the United States, including a blockbuster event at Madison Square Garden, a broad range of interactions with President Obama and Congress, and a wide-ranging and productive set of discussions with the business community about the future of U.S.-India relations. Subsequently, President Obama had the honor of returning to India, the first time a sitting U.S. president has visited India twice, and the first time that a U.S. president was the chief guest at the Republic Day celebrations. The president was deeply honored to receive this invitation and had a very enjoyable and productive visit. The level, energy, and pace of our engagement is impressive, but shouldn't be surprising for what President Obama declared as the, quote, defining partnership of the 21st century, unquote. Our task is to build on our mutual interests with mutual respect and deliver on the promise of that partnership. Now, as I speak, Prime Minister Modi is having highly productive, highly informative meetings with U.S. CEOs on both the East and West coasts of America. Now, I'm sure the PM finds these useful meetings, but I can tell you that Americans find the PM's message highly valuable as well. It heartens us to hear his message about the role of social media in strengthening democracy. As you well know, two-way trade has increased to nearly $100 billion, up fivefold since 2001, and that increase has supported hundreds of thousands of jobs across our two countries. But we also all know that we are achieving only a fraction of the potential. There is much more that can be done. India is one of the fastest growing sources of investment in the United States, with Indian firms having invested billions in the U.S. supporting tens of thousands of jobs. And having heard Prime Minister Modi speak eloquently of his Make in India, Digital India, and Smart Cities initiatives, increasing investment in India will be critical as well. With more than 1 year of the NDA government behind us, our assessment is we have made a good start, a good first step. The question is, what can we do through our engagement on the trade and investment relationship to sustain and reinforce this very good start? Let's take manufacturing. We fully understand and respect India's desire to develop a stronger manufacturing sector. Indeed, we're very much focused on doing the same at home. The question is how. Our sense is that it is better to incentivize it rather than to mandate it. If the government of India focuses on improving the business environment, addressing the issues reflected in India's ease of doing business rating, foreign manufacturing will come and invest, create jobs and bring technology and integrate India into globally competitive supply chains. By contrast, as a number of studies have demonstrated, rigid local content requirements are likely to spawn less competitive industries, increase costs to producers and consumers, and lower India's economic welfare. To achieve its full potential, India's manufacturing future lies in creating the conditions in which world-class investment will want to come to India, not in building uncompetitive industries behind a wall of protectionism. As the government of India pursues its Make in India initiative, we stand ready to be supportive, including by engaging on how to successfully achieve its objectives without distorting its trade relations with the United States or other major trading partners. This is one of the issues we'll be discussing in the Trade Policy Forum later this year. Another area that's central to our shared future is innovation. We know that the Internet has brought the world closer together and has had a significant democratizing effect. But the Internet has also had a transformative effect on our economy. It has transformed the products and services we buy, how we buy them, and dramatically reduced the cost of moving products and services across borders. One of the most compelling assessments of the Internet's impact comes from the OECD, which asserts that the overall impact of the Internet and IT on global productivity may surpass that of any other technology in history, including electricity and the internal combustion engine. Internet-enabled and digital technologies have driven the development of global data networks. These are networks that foster economic development, networks that enhance agricultural production and advance environmental protection, networks that protect public health and safety throughout the world. Perhaps most fundamentally, the Internet has resulted in a dramatic expansion of the information and communication technology sector around the world. The ICT sector today is orders of magnitude bigger than it was 20 years ago and includes a much more diverse set of players. Today, the sector includes companies that develop hardware, software, smartphones, content applications, networking, cybersecurity, and support services. And there are new emerging global competitors every day coming out of tech incubators, universities, and labs, including here in India. We have faster and more democratized innovation coming about through new, affordable access to massive computing power through the cloud. The sum total of this innovation, fueled by the architecture of the Internet and now the cloud, cannot be overestimated. In a 2011 study, McKinsey estimated that the Internet contributed to almost a 21% increase in GDP in mature economies during the 2006 through 2011 time period alone. The National Foreign Trade Council reports that the goods, services, and content flowing through the Internet during the same 5-year period were responsible for a 15% growth in U.S. GDP. That is all the more striking given that the period spanned the Great Recession. Put simply, the Internet and broadband networks have transformed the global economy by establishing an open platform for delivering information-sensitive products and services instantly. They have enabled the emergence of an almost seamless global marketplace. But we know that IP infringement, in particular, is a huge concern for digital content producers and rights holders operating in foreign markets. As I have discussed, IP protections do not simply benefit rights holders. They have a ripple effect on the entire economy. In fact, IP protections have led to the development of the most innovative internet-enabled products and services in the world today, from the content on Netflix to the software on Adobe's cloud. Therefore, in our newer trade agreements, like the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the United States has proposed a strong and balanced legal framework for intellectual property rights protections to promote the dissemination of content while reducing obstacles to the development of new technologies and business models. We recognize that we are no longer in 1995, when the last major shift in trade rules happened. So we have sought to advance the existing global intellectual property standards by insisting upon provisions to protect against the theft of trade secrets, whether by cyber means or otherwise. We have proposed anti-circumvention provisions used by both traditional content companies as well as new digital content and service providers. We have sought Internet service providers safe harbors aligned with the Digital Millennium Copyright Act in our domestic legislation. We see these as valuable to the digital economy. Our policy proposals also provide space for policymakers to adapt to new technological developments when necessary in the public interest. Additionally, as a complement to the copyright protection and enforcement commitments, the United States is also supporting provisions for the first time in any trade agreement that will promote balance in copyright systems through exceptions and limitations for legitimate purposes, such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, including with respect to the digital environment. We hope that these new rules will one day become the global gold standard, and that not only U.S. innovators, but Indian innovators as well can benefit from them. We know that the government of India is undertaking domestic reforms on intellectual property in an effort to foster innovation. In our discussions with the Indian government on intellectual property, we have applauded the stated mission of the draft IP policy of creating an IPR system that will, quote, accelerate economic growth, employment, and entrepreneurship, unquote. To achieve this goal, we have encouraged the Indian government to adopt domestic IP policies that will promote innovation and create a welcoming environment for investment that can generate economic growth. Strong domestic policies are important from our experience. In the United States, intellectual property intensive and associated industries account for more than 40 million American jobs and contribute more than $5 trillion to U.S. GDP. That $5 trillion is about 34% of our GDP. While IP is used in virtually every segment of the U.S. economy, there are 75 industries, including computer, pharmaceutical, and medical equipment manufacturing companies, that use patent, copyright, and trademark protections most extensively. Jobs in IP-intensive industries, those 75, are on average, the wages in those are 42% higher than wages in other industries. And as I've noted, IP protections do not simply benefit rights holders. They have a ripple effect on the entire economy. Knowledge, information, creativity, and inventiveness are now as important as traditional and tangible assets such as land, labor, and capital in driving economic growth, development, and job creation. The ability of governments to provide domestic protections for these less tangible assets is of increasing importance in international investment decisions. There are some specific suggestions that we believe India could adopt to move its innovation capacity into higher gear. Our fundamental message is that strong intellectual property rights protection is good for India. It will not only ensure that the incentives are in place to foster the innovation of tomorrow, but will also attract investment in introduction of technologies that are driving the development of future technologies globally. I'd like to highlight two specific aspects of our bilateral intellectual property work that seek to increase global innovation and demonstrate the potential positive outcomes for India and the United States. First, patents have encouraged the inventions that have and continue to contribute to strong economic and high-value job growth around the world. Industries as diverse as information technology, aerospace, pharmaceuticals, textiles, automobiles, and medical technology all depend upon the international patent system to ensure that the significant investments that are made in research, development, and testing can provide the financial return to support the companies that are making those investments. For example, it is because of investments and other forms of intellectual property protections, because of patents and other forms of intellectual property protection, that the biopharmaceutical industry is willing to take the $2.6 billion investment over a period of 10 years required on average to bring just one new medicine to market. You heard that correctly. Just bring one new medicine to market. The cost is $2.6 billion. It is important to keep in mind that after the patent term has expired, other companies are free to use and build on the innovation that has been created. In the case of medicines, this has given rise to a strong generic medicine industry that gives patients opportunities to purchase more affordable medicines. It has also led to the widespread purchasing and adoption of technologies by the public of luxuries that may have once been out of reach. For instance, automobiles, cell phones, and personal computers. Indian inventors are increasingly applying for patents, and Indian companies are among the world's most attuned to global technology developments and have been responsible for bringing to the market affordable alternatives of products that enjoyed patent protection at one time. We hope to see these trends continue and further boost innovation, which is why patent protection is an area that we spend a lot of time discussing with the Indian government. India does not currently have a trade secrets law. I hasten to add that India does recognize trade secrets, especially when a contract is involved, and has a long and generally supportive jurisprudence with respect to trade secrets. Nevertheless, we see real benefits for promotion of foreign direct investments in having a trade secrets law per se. We recognize that this is an area under consideration by the Indian government. Another important IP focus for our two governments is providing effective copyright protection for our creative industries. For some companies, particularly in creative fields such as music, films, and television, ensuring that the copyrighted content itself is protected against unauthorized use is more important than patents in creating incentives. As I explained earlier, in both the United States and in India, our creative content is wildly popular at home and around the world. We also share a serious copyright violation problem in this area. In this area, key challenges to ensuring that the creators of the music, films, and television and books benefit from the fruits of their labors, including addressing piracy that occurs online, preventing individuals from using devices to film new movies in cinemas, and ensuring that enforcement resources are properly deployed to deter copyright piracy. By working together, we can help curb these trends and ensure that the creative industries in both of our countries continue